Hey, it's me, Chester Brown. Your favourite musician. I'm gonna stop being cocky, but I just had some spare time today and decided I was gonna I decided to film a video where I'm talking about my process of songwriting. I'm not sure how many of you are interested or not, but it's good to get it out there in the open, I guess, especially after releasing my 7th album. I'm going to stop the self-promotion soon enough, trust me. But anyway, I do apologise, however, that this is completely improvised. I'm going to try and do as best as I can. I've got my keyboard set up here. Don't think the camera can see that. I'll quickly... There you go. Just proof that you can see it. I'm not good at editing, so don't expect too much. Most of you are going to be looking... Most of it's you're going to be looking at my lovely face. Anyway... Yeah, I'll just dive straight into it. Obviously, this was my 7th album, New Beginnings, the one I just finished last Wednesday. And basically, it's a different album. Well, it's much more like orientated towards one specific thing, like in that metal genre. But I'm not going to talk as much about my albums or about my process of songwriting as such. I'll try and keep it as short as possible. Now, many of you people who know me obviously know as like someone who's aspiring to be like a progressive metal keyboardist or just in the metal genre whatsoever. But like over the past few years, and especially over the last year, when I took this break between finishing my 6th album and starting and eventually finishing my latest album, it helped me kind of develop a few more skills as a songwriter, and that's kind of what I wanted to share. In terms of the music, I'll do another video for the lyrics after. On a later date. In terms of the music, obviously, one of the main scales I always used to use and still use when I can, not as much because I learned not to overuse it, was the Phrygian dominant scale, for example. In D, not just in that key, but that's the scale that I use a lot for it. And for my songwriting. And I learned not to overuse that a lot, because if any of you out there trying to write metal, it's important to not overuse certain scales. So for me, the kind of way I approached a lot of the songs in this latest album of mine, which is why I think I progressed as a songwriter, because of how I've written them, I kind of changed between certain scales. I knew what scales would sound heavier, which sounds would be more appropriate for the direction of song that I'm going to literally be writing, playing, recording, whatever. I'll have some clips of the songs actually running through the background. In fact, right now, I'll show you one of the songs in the album where I do use the Phrygian dominant scale per se to a good effect. Well, a good power in the chorus of Ravage. As you can hear that. As you hear it, got that power, that driving power behind it. And that's kind of why I was really dominant to make it sound really good, not just to overuse not to just overuse the scale and just play loads of solos on it. I've learned to hone in on what makes it sound, what I can use it for, what I can make it sound powerful. For example, in the chorus, as I just showed you in Ravage, it's that drive that it gives you, those power chords, that really punching feel to the music. And I think that's a very good way to look about writing with that particular scale. Chords more than I go ahead and bust out a solo in it, it sounds great, but in the sense of writing for riffs, chord progressions, whatever, it's those simple chords. It's trying to remember what key it was in now. Yeah, but as I'm saying, it's these power chords, this is on a piano effect, so it doesn't sound as powerful, but it's still the same chords, just simple power chords. I'm ravaged by this criminal, so savage that takes its toll. Messed up there, but I'm ravaged by this criminal, so savage that takes its toll. Alright, I'm as it takes its toll. How captive I'm under control. And yeah. See what I mean? It's got that power. I mean, I can't show you particularly with the piano, but just using those simple chords, don't try and overcomplicate things. That's how I see it for the Phrygian dominant. As I said, I'm trying to get through this as quick as possible, so if it's not in depth enough for you, as if you're watching it, then I do apologise. But this is just a brief summary of how I approach writing songs in this album. Now, a favourite of mine, which I'll touch on now, Justice, of course, the third song on the album. One of the ones I wrote earlier on in the process of writing it. Not the earliest, but one of in that period where I was writing a few songs a week. That was one of the first ones of that period. Justice for me, in my opinion, out of all the songs I've written, probably the best chorus in my opinion, my favourite chorus I've written. Again, it's just using simple power chords, but just using them effectively in the sense that, like Ravage, Justice is also in the key of C sharp. And the chorus, where the chords simply go like this. The chords go like that, simply, just simple power chords, and then at the end, just a simple rundown in straight up power chords. With the singing, just adding to that edge, behind it, that real driving edge, like in Ravaged, except this is not Phrygian dominant, this is much more minor, and experimenting with intervals a bit more, because right there, the perfect fourth of B, just like a B sus4, but without that perfect fifth, just the perfect fourth to transition into the A5, back into the A5, just that kind of way I've been experimenting with adding the power chord, but just like Ravage, perfect example, power chords, keep it simple, still adds a driving punch to it. If I can remember the lyrics well. Suffering, detained and broken, 1,000 words never heard, torturing, the media has spoken, this treatment's not deserved. The realization, it's not justice served. Yeah, again, like Ravage, it's simple, but it's just got that driving edge to it, matching with the lyrics that kind of pushes through it, really pushes into it. Suffering, detained and broken, 1,000 words never heard. Yeah, excuse my singing voice there, I went a bit off. So yeah, another example, just like Ravage, power chords, keep it simple, keep it driving through. And I'll talk a bit about the riffs now in the songs, because I used a lot of other types of riffs in the songs, and ones that I can try and remember off the top of my head right now as I'm seriously just improvising this video and trying to push through. I would say Justice, Obviously that one at the start of Justice is a good example of a riff I've used without using power chords, just singular notes. I'm trying to remember the Perfect Addiction one now off the top of my head, which I can't for the life of me, I apologise. Never Forgotten, of course. The song I wrote about child abuse, one of my favourite songs in the album, well, just one of my favourite songs lyrically that I think I've ever written. The riff at the beginning of Never Forgotten uses it just jumps between the octaves really, most of it is structured around the octave of E. The key, if Never Forgotten, is E, in case you were wondering. That's just it, and the whole verse just goes over it, and I'll try and sing it with it. Syncopation between mouth and hand and so on for keyboard playing. Not my forte, but I'll try. I'm just not even going to be able to do it. It's actually really difficult. Obviously, when I recorded it, I had the track already playing that I'd already recorded in the process of recording, but just that riff. I play that in different ways, and that also adds to the the structure of the song, which helps it develop. At the start, it's simply just singular notes. And like as the song gets heavier as a way to progress it, I simply just add in more notes to add that sound of a power chord. There, but you get the whole gist of it. Adding in the few notes kind of adds to the overall feel of it. So that's basically all this video is about, how to advance your songwriting in a sense, in the way, not to copy me per se, but helpful tips that I can give you that I picked up on in the process of writing this album, like using power chords effectively, not getting too complex, adding power to riffs without changing them much, the same riff, the same structure, just adding one or two notes here or there, changing singular notes that were singular when it was lighter into power chords to add to the heavy, intense feel. You know, and one thing I'll finally touch on, like, because solos and all that, you don't need me to touch on, arpeggios. I use a lot of them in this album. For example, mostly in pre-choruses, a pre-chorus of Bridges, a pre-chorus of Never Forgotten. If I'm correct, the pre-chorus of Ravaged. I mean, I should know my own song, shouldn't I? Pre-chorus of Perfect Addiction, you know, like I use the arpeggios a lot. Usually I go into a higher register. I mean, I'm using a piano effect right now. In fact, I'll quickly switch the current thing I'm using on GarageBand from a piano effect to a guitar effect so I can show you exactly what I mean. In fact, to save me going to the trouble of actually finding exactly how it sounded like, I'll use Ravage because that's the bear with me. I'll use Ravaged to highlight what I mean by this. I'll just grab jump on the patch or whatever you want to call it that I made for one of the leads in this song. I'll just find the correct place because I've got two guitar lead tracks for this song. I want to grab the wrong one. Who would like to play for me? That would be pretty good, wouldn't it? I mean, life, right? Sometimes. Let's just see. I mean, this is an unexpected turn, isn't it? Oh, that works fine. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. Just need to kick it into gear, you know. I've got to try and remember this. I mean, shouldn't be too hard considering it's my song, you'd think, right? But Chester Brown is completely clueless sometimes when it comes to his own music, apparently. I'm not promoting myself well, am I? But no. Just got to remember the chords, that's all. It was in here, that's right. I can't remember. I'm sorry, guys. Once I've recorded the song at the moment, like if I was to ever perform these live, I'll really have to take a lot of time to look back and trying to remember certain parts which weren't as like obvious as the other ones. So what I'll do is just play it for you quickly. In fact, I'm a genius, aren't I? Because all I need to do, really, is isolate the tracks. I've isolated two of them here. And I'll keep this playing so I'll show you an isolated version of the chorus, which is now. Takes its toll. How captive, I'm under control. Give me back my life. And more of it. I'll just keep this playing so I can talk over it. So you hear it right now. That's the example of just like singular notes of the riff, just to kind kind of take a bit of an edge off it, you know, in a breakdown. Obviously there's drums and bass and all sorts over this, but an example, or like in a verse, just using power chords like that. Just kind of like keeping it simple, and it's just all about keeping it simple and making an occasional change of chords, you know, here and there. Adding a few extra notes in. See, I'm just proving, I'm just like showing it perfectly, isn't it? Not making it always just the same, adding a little more just to make it slightly different and keep the view, like the listener interested. Like, changing the pre-chorus higher up, which is like higher register, you see? It's just this how it all like comes together in my mind when I write for this. And again the chorus. I'm ravaged by this criminal, so savage as it takes its toll. Held captive, I'm under control. Give me back my life. And yeah. So that pretty much sums up everything I've done right there. I mean, I don't know why I didn't do that at first, so this video's probably gone on a bit longer, but hopefully it was interesting for you guys, and I will make another video about my lyric writing process, because I've got a lot to talk to you about that, but that was just a little brief summary of my musical insight to behind my writing, mainly from this last album, how I've developed as a songwriter because of like discovering these new ways to write songs. So if it helped anyone out there, maybe it did, maybe it didn't, I don't know, but if it did, let me know, I guess, leave a comment, because it'd be great to like hear if you guys found it helpful or not. If not, doesn't matter, because I've got more music coming eventually. Never stop, I'm a musician. Anyway, I should probably just wrap it up now, shouldn't I, before I continue going on and on and on and on and on. My go-to scale, that D Phrygian dominant. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed, and bye-bye.